Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the REC podcast, brought to you by the REC Toycast. I'm your host, Roman Chavez, and with me, as always,
Erik Icarus.
Erik,
what's up?
You can find us on the gram at REC Podcast. You can follow myself at Roman REC Podcast, and you can follow yourself.
Gulag_J_Wielden.
How you doing, brother?
Good. How are you?
Good. You know, I can't remember if we brought this up, but I had somebody ask me the other day, why do you keep saying brought to you by the REC Toycast? Because we haven't done a Toycast in some time.
It's been a while.
The big reason for that is we get our stuff from a local comic book store, and he's been affected by COVID in terms of shipments and delays and stuff like that, and we just haven't gotten our toy orders. We could go and purchase them someplace else, but we placed orders with this guy. We're gonna buy our stuff from this guy.
That's right. We keep it local, man.
Yeah, we're gonna do the best we can. It would be a different situation if we were had the big subscribers and we were generating
and we're getting them for free.
Yeah, exactly. Generating funds and stuff like that. But
you hear that?
That's not our.
I'm blaming this on you, the viewer.
Whoa, that's not what we're talking about. I'm just saying. Then we would buy them so that you guys could get that. But
that's what I was getting at.
We're just working on it. Erik's being way too aggressive for the show. I need you to turn it back. Okay, I need you to turn it back.
Sorry. I was hanging out with AJ.
Yeah, it's too much. But yeah, so that's what we're waiting on. Once we have some cool toy shows, we'll put them out for you again. Yeah. And we just hope that you'll watch them because you enjoy listening to our sultry tones.
Yeah.
There is an update on our Sentinel. From HasLab. It was hoping to get 6,000 backers. Now we're up past 14,000 backers, and I'll put a picture here. And they're saying if we can get to 16,000, they're going to release a tri-sentinel head. So a new head that has 3 faces on it.
Wow.
From comic books.
Well, technically 4 with a master mold, right?
Well, no. So this one head is going to have 3 sides.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so it rotates and it's going to have different faces on each side.
Gotcha.
Yes, we are getting the master mold head. We are getting the battle damage head. So this is the 3rd head that we are going to get. We're getting 2 tentacles. We're getting battle damage limbs. I believe 2 or 3 extra figures. I think there's 2 or 3 extra figures. I'll have to check that out for you guys. There's a Bastion. There's a female Supreme Sentinel. So it might be 2 other figures.
Nimrod.
There's not a Nimrod specific.
Oh, they're not? Oh, okay.
No, they're doing the Nimrod in that box set.
Oh, that's right.
So we were saying,
right.
And then at San Diego Con Online, they announced that they showed the release of the Nimrod. So we'll have to. I did order us some of those Nimrods as well. So we'll have to do a show on those, and we'll show them with the Sentinel because the Sentinel doesn't even come out for another year. It's going to come out fall of next year. So guys, we have to be good to one another. We have to figure things out. We got to settle our differences because I want the world to survive so that we can get this Sentinel. And there's at least 14,000, hopefully 16,000 backers that agree with me.
Totally.
So let's spread the love. Let's figure some things out. All right. Plus, we have to see Avengers 5.
Come on. Totally.
Erik, I have a strange bit of news that came out this week.
God, here we go.
It doesn't affect much of what we do ever, but I just found it to be interesting.
Okay.
The head of NBC Universal had to step down because of an extramarital affair he had with actress Charlotte Kirk, alleged. Okay, but he has to step down. Apparently, some documents came out where he had allegedly paid her off like some type of settlement.
Sure.
8 years ago.
Oh wow. Okay.
This guy
didn't even know that mattered.
Exactly. Well, I guess he has to disclose that type of stuff to the company, like it's in his contract, and he did not do that. It got out anyway, and then now he had to step down. Why this is interesting is because this is the second time that this chick has gotten the head of a company removed.
Really?
Yeah. She also had another thing with the head of Warner Brothers a couple years ago. This guy Kevin, it's a Japanese last name. I apologize. Sugiyama, I think is what it is. Mm-hmm. Kevin Sugiyama, and he was the head of Warner Brothers, And allegedly he got removed because of their. He was like trying to use his power to like put her in movies. Dude, I don't even know who this chick is.
Yeah, I was getting ready to ask you, who is she?
She was in How to Be Single and Ocean's 8. I can't remember who she was in Ocean's 8. I did not recognize her. I should have pulled up the picture for you, but you wouldn't have recognized her either.
No,
like, I have no idea who she is.
We should pull up for the audience.
Yeah, boom, right here. But I thought that was such a weird thing that she's like,
toppling dynasties.
She's 28.
She's already taken down.
So when she was 20, she was messing around with that guy from NBC Universal, Ron Myers, and allegedly he paid her off 8 years ago. So she was 20 years old, and I'll show her a picture. She's not my type for sure.
Sure.
But yeah, I don't know. Isn't that just weird? How do you get two very different?
Yeah,
very different. Like old white guy, and then
old Japanese dude.
I assume an old Japanese dude, but he looked pretty good from the picture that I saw.
Okay.
Yeah. So he wasn't quite 60 yet, I think. But yeah, that was just bizarre to me, and I thought.
I don't. What was her name again?
Her name is Charlotte Kirk.
Charlotte Kirk.
Yeah, she was in Ocean's 8. Like, she hasn't been in a movie since 2018.
Oh, no one's going to cast her ever.
Well, maybe that's why. Like I said, she hasn't been in a movie since 2008.
Yeah,
or 18. Sorry,
18.
2018.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, part of me has a little bit of respect for her.
She aims high, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
she aims totally high.
Yeah, I don't know. That's not usually. I don't know. Sometimes you're into that gossip.
No, it's totally funny to me because, okay, I mean, she's got to be. What, is she marginally attractive or is she hot?
I mean, I think she's like Hollywood attractive,
right?
But she's just not my type. Yeah, she's just not. I don't.
Yeah, but you can see these two guys.
I'm not risking my job for this chick. Okay, for sure.
So this Roger dude.
Ron
Myers. Yeah. Who's Roger Myers? Oh, Itchy and Scratchy.
Yeah.
So he was hooking this chick up with movie roles, essentially.
Not this one. The Kevin Sugiyama. Yeah.
So this guy just paid her off then.
Yeah, like I guess he was.
Hush money.
Yeah, hush money. Like, hey, I'm married. Don't talk about this.
So this comes out.
Yeah.
And he gets fired for this? For having an affair?
Yeah, he got fired for having an affair because it's in his contract that he has to. Same thing that was in Harvey Weinstein's contract. Like, Harvey Weinstein had a contract saying he cannot be sued for more than this amount.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there was my understanding is there was a separate like fund for his
indiscretions. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So, but this guy had the same thing kind of.
Yeah, right? And not so much just like, hey, if you do something if you willingly take care of something, you just got to let us know. If they would have just let him know, that's how it sounds to me, then he would not have been removed.
See, that to me is a little more sleazy.
Yeah.
That's the sleazy part of the story, that these big companies and studios have a hush money fund.
Oh, yeah.
Like, hey, just give us a heads up when you get with some trollop.
Yeah.
And we'll pay her off.
Yeah.
That's skeevy.
Yeah. Well, because if they get involved, then it's like they'll try to put ironclad like NDAs and all that. They'll try to make sure that it doesn't come out.
Yeah.
Whereas it sounds like the Harveys and maybe guys like this were like, oh, I'll just take care of it, and then I don't, because I bet you there's like a penalty, or it allows him to be the board to say, hey, you're going to be removed.
Yeah.
So maybe that's his, whatever. I don't know. I'm heavily speculating. I just wanted to let you know about
this is a big deal because to me now it's proven to me that these big companies are bankrolling them basically.
Completely.
Chase skirt.
Yeah.
And whatever you do, what you do. I can't judge anybody for what they do. I mean, as long as she's of age, you know what I'm saying? You can't. Yeah. You can't really get on and fire him for this, in my opinion.
But when it's in your contract, you can. When you sign a contract, you say, "Hey,
fair enough.
If I screw, yeah." Now, if it wasn't in his contract, whatever you do in your personal time, that's your own thing.
Yeah, as long as you're not hurting anybody, bringing kids into it, I don't care.
Yeah, because it doesn't even sound like she's the one who's like coming out.
This was just something that came to light through something. And,
because it's just so weird. Like, man, you shot high.
Yeah,
like, how do you get there? Like, so, how do you, what party are you at?
I know, right? So she took down the head of Universal and then the head of Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Hey, what a notch in your belt! Look out, Bob Iger of Disney.
Yeah. And Kevin Feige. Yeah. Keep it in your pants.
Yeah. When would Kevin have any time to have an extramarital affair? Maybe right now during COVID.
Yeah. Right now he's calling this chick.
Yeah, or he's like one of the greats, and he's just like grinding, like trying to figure out the next phases. You guys have no idea. You're sleeping on Feige, all right?
Wait a minute, who's sleeping with Feige?
Charlotte. Breaking news.
Oh no!
Yeah. Part 3, Eric. Part 3
of what?
Or is this part 4? Actually, I think this is part 4. Before there was an MCU.
Yeah, before the dawn.
Yeah, we've got another great year.
Mm-hmm.
In retrospect, it was at the time.
It was.
It was an interesting time.
We had nothing to compare it to.
Yeah, 2003. We have some more comic book movies.
Yeah,
and I think what we were talking about today in our show meeting was just like how many comic book movies. Like the people who say they have comic book fatigue, we do kind of understand.
I can understand it.
I can understand the people who don't really dig it, why they have comic book fatigue, because there's been so many just in the last 20 years.
Yes,
and we're not even talking about the good. There's been so many good ones.
Yeah,
and there's also been so many bad ones.
A lot of bad ones.
There's going to be a couple in here, but not nearly as many as you think. But we're going to start with one that you've watched that I haven't. You've talked about before, so we don't have to spend too much time on American Splendor.
American Splendor.
What's
the
the
story of Harvey P. Carr.
Yeah.
Basically a comic book documenting his life.
Yeah.
It was kind of like one of the first comic books to real life novels or graphic novels I've ever saw. As far as, there's no superheroes in this.
Sure.
It's basically just
a book
about his
life.
Yeah.
An autobiography with pictures.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we have the amazing Paul Giamatti playing Harvey P. Carr. And, you actually get the real Harvey P. Carr kind of narrating it and interacting with Paul Giamatti. Yeah, and you can tell they had a lot of fun on the set together, cool.
I remember when it was coming out, like, you had already known that this was a comic book. I didn't know. I was like, oh, yeah, I guess it's a comic. You're like, yeah, totally. You were telling me about it. I was like, wow, that sounds boring as hell.
In retrospect, it's not for everybody. I get it. But what an interesting way to dictate someone's life.
Sure,
through comic book.
I actually really enjoy it. I'm waiting for the.
Oh, you watched it?
No. I actually really enjoy that idea.
Okay.
Yeah, like I'm waiting for the documentary for Stan Lee, the kind of last dance for Stan Lee. I'm waiting for something like that. It sounds like this would be a cool way to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, kind of comic book it up a bit.
Totally. But yeah, great movie. Check it out. It's really amazing.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Paul Giamatti hits home run. It's great.
Yeah. This is after Sideways too. Like, I think, right?
Before.
Oh, it's before Sideways. Okay, man, he had such a great career even before his breakout.
Yeah,
role.
which is in Sideways. Yeah. But because he was Pig Vomit in Private Parts, he was. He was. I always forget his name in Negotiator,
but he was great.
Yeah, he was great in that. And then Harvey P. Carr.
Yeah. He's just around. He plays a really good
and big fat liar.
He's got a lot of range.
He does.
Because he plays a really good shyster.
He does.
And then he plays kind of the beaten down guy.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, he's great.
He was in Thunderpants too.
I never saw Thunderpants. So,
it's a superhero movie.
Tell me what you know about Bulletproof Monk. Did you ever catch that one?
I did watch it one time. It's with Stifler and Chow Yun-Fat, right?
Yeah, Chow Yun-Fat and Sean William Scott.
Mm-hmm.
I
was not aware up until a couple years ago that it was a comic book.
Yeah, and I don't even know if it's a traditional comic book. I think it might be more in that kind of manga style. Which still technically fits in there, paneled art and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I did watch the movie. It was it had poor wire special effects in a time where we were getting really cool.
Oh yeah, because Crouching Tiger
was already out around that time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and so it was just a poor. It seemed like it was poor wiring with poor CG.
Yeah,
and it just didn't work. You didn't really believe Sean. This felt like Sean Williams got really phoning it in.
Oh, totally. And Chow Yun was not Chow Yun in this movie.
Yeah, he was
very tired.
Just collecting a check.
There you go.
Yeah. I've never read the book. I thought that it would be.
It's just worth the mention because
it is.
I mean, the movie, from what I remember, sucked.
Yeah, it wasn't strong. Like I said, the choreography wasn't strong, and everybody just felt like they were phoning it in. But it was something that I think people were looking forward to because Sean William Scott was still fairly popular at this time. Chow Yun-fat still had some name recognition in the mainstream, and it just didn't
do anything.
Deliver. No,
it didn't do anything.
I'm gonna have you go ahead and get this one going because I need to turn on your light over there.
Yes.
Let's go with 2003's Daredevil.
Oh, use. Yeah, I knew he was going to leave me with that one. This movie came out at a time when we didn't have anything to compare it to, and I would be remiss if I didn't say when I first watched it, I actually enjoyed it a little bit.
Yeah.
Because Colin Farrell, who plays Bullseye,
yeah,
good job.
Yeah.
Michael Clark Duncan plays Wilson Fisk, a.k.a. Kingpin. Does a good job.
Yeah.
Ben Affleck arguably does a good job.
Yeah.
Jennifer Lawrence Garner?
Jennifer Garner.
As Electra Nachos.
Electric Nachos.
Yes. does I think she should have played Daredevil. She has the stronger jawline than Ben.
Ah, dang. Cold-blooded.
But, looking back at it now.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Wow.
It's terrible.
I think that's insanely too hard. I've been an advocate for this movie. And at the time, it was arguably one of the best comic book movies to come out, in my opinion.
At the time.
I disagree with your retrospect. I still think it's fun.
Right.
Something that's really. I appreciate Ben Affleck like really going into the character, but like he's kind of like doing like the cross-eyed.
Oh yeah. He looks like the Dirt Devil,
dude. It's really distracting. It is some of the times. But I think that him and Garner have good chemistry. Now I like Jennifer Garner, and I like the character that she did on screen, but it was not Elektra. It was her interpretation of Elektra, so that's okay because even that Daredevil's not there. It was another version of these people, and I could accept it for the movie world, but it's not a good Daredevil movie. I know, God, what am I doing? I'm really having a hard time defending it. I enjoyed it.
Okay, well, we can give some cool nods here. Yeah. We did have a lot of the or a few Daredevil writers and artists in the movie. Yeah. Frank Miller plays a victim to Bullseye. Yeah. He has got something thrown in his head, so he has a quick cameo. And Kevin Smith, who wrote the Guardian Devil run.
Yeah.
Marvel Knights. Yeah. Plays a mortician.
Mortician, or no, not a mortician. Because mortician would be like the dude like burying the people, right? Like this is like the examiner.
I should know this. I was going to school for this for a minute.
Yeah, because like mortician would be like at the place with the caskets and stuff, right?
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah, this is like a forensic.
Some we'll just call him that.
Autopsy person.
Yeah.
And and I loved that. I thought it was really funny. Yeah. Oh, and
Joey Pantoliano.
Yes,
as Ben Urich.
Yeah, good job. Yeah. That's exactly where I was going. That was exactly
Joey Pants kills.
I was like Cypher, Matrix. He kills it, man. Such a great version of the character. I think it's a really strong. I think it's an island, or what's the thing in the desert?
Mirage.
A mirage. Oasis? Oh, an oasis in the desert of comic book movies. When I don't know, I think it's still really strong. It would be towards the top of that era of 2007.
This is the male Catwoman, in my opinion.
Man, harsh.
Because this again, another saving grace is I don't think we get the MCU without this movie.
I agree.
Because we have. Mr. John Favreau playing Foggy Nelson.
Yes,
best friend to Matt Murdock.
I think and again, I agree with what you were saying earlier. It was like all of the ingredients, like these were all the freshest ingredients.
Yes,
and then it's just a really somebody threw mango in this salsa. like you had a lot going on. You had everything you needed, and then you put mango in here, and it's too much.
It's too much.
It's too much. You messed up.
But it is what it is. It gave us a lot of bad things. It gave us Evanescence.
Oh, I like that Evanescence song. We've talked about this.
Yeah,
Evanescence. I'm not arguing with you anymore about Evanescence.
But, all right, let's move on.
Let's move on to something we can agree on.
Okay.
Ang Lee's the Hulk. Go.
Yes. I respect Ang Lee. I like a lot of his movies. Really solid director. Very artistic director. When you think artistic director, someone who's doing something different left of center, you think Ang Lee.
Yes.
In Life of Pi,
Yes.
Brokeback Mountain. Mm-hmm. The guy is he's got his own thing going.
Yeah.
So when the studio heads at Paramount / Marvel got together and we're like, okay, who do we want to get to do this Hulk movie?
Yeah.
We got the rights.
Yeah.
Who do we get? Do you want to maybe get a Michael Bay type?
Who's hot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's hot at the moment? Do you want to get a big action director? There's this guy up and coming. His name's Ang Lee.
Yeah.
He's going to bring a lot of style to this.
And guys, if the Hulk is anything, he's all about style. if that's what we're doing, Yeah. This movie was I was coming off the high of Daredevil, and then the Hulk just really kicked me in the pieces, man. This was so bad. They did interesting things. They did fun things with it. I like the idea of the Hulk being really fast, because that makes sense, because he's so strong. He could run really fast.
Yeah, his calves are huge. Your calves are huge.
Yeah. Thank you. I never thought about it in that sense, so that was kind of fun. But he just didn't look good.
No.
They added a super convoluted, abusive father backstory that has been lightly mentioned in comics, but it's
just alluded to.
Yeah, alluded to, but this really expounded on it. This was the crux of it. He was going. I liked the illusion. There's a story in the Marvel universe where they say that Banner was going to be a mutant anyway.
Oh.
And that the gamma explosion just accelerated his mutation.
Oh, really?
But yeah, that he was already going to be somebody with super strength. Or something
he had the genes.
Yeah, he was most likely going to be a mutant. There's an even darker story. It might have been in a Civil War alternate world where, or was in a House of M type of world where he is experimenting. They've captured mutants, and the explosion goes off, and their genetic material is blown into him because of that. So he literally has mutant genetic material and the gamma explosion, and that's why he's a Hulk, and he hates mutants because of it. It's very, very dark. It's a very dark story.
Jeez, man.
But that's not this movie. I apologize. That is not this movie.
I mean, I would be okay with it being that movie.
Sure, yeah.
They
might as well.
Anything would have been better than what we got.
Yeah. What was that? Nick Nolte?
Nick Nolte plays the dad.
/ Absorbing Man? Which is
maybe
everything about this movie. I think the only thing
Sam Elliott kills it.
Sam Elliott kills it, and Jennifer
Ross.
Connelly as Betty.
Yes,
those.
Eric Bana was okay really as Bruce Banner.
He was okay.
He's fine.
But he's just too pretty.
Yeah,
I think he's a good looking dude, and I don't want to. You could say that Mark Ruffalo is attractive, but Mark Ruffalo's attractive
in a nerdy way.
You
believe
there
that.
You go. Yeah.
He's the best looking guy in the lab coat.
He's the hot guy. Yeah, he's the hot guy in the lab.
Yeah.
Whereas Eric Bana's a hot guy in a lot of places.
Yeah, exactly.
He could give Chris Evans some pointers in some movies.
But
not as Cap though.
Yeah, I mean, arguably the best scene, because it's the worst scene, is the Hulk dogs.
Oh my god, the Gamma dogs.
The Gamma dogs.
Yeah. Oh, so stupid. So stupid.
You couldn't make them all pit bulls.
Yeah.
The German Shepherds. You got to throw a poodle in there.
Yeah. It was just, and who did that?
That's not his dad, right?
Yeah, but no, Ang Lee's not saying, let's put a pit. That's studio meddling.
Oh,
that's gotta be.
I don't know, man. Ang Lee's weird.
He is weird.
Maybe he did do that.
Maybe he did it. He was they want a third dog. Let's make it a poodle.
I can see him saying.
Or they want dogs. Let's make one of them a poodle.
Yeah. I mean that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's.
There's the only, aside from some of the casting, I don't see a lot of redeeming qualities to this movie.
Yeah.
But I have a theory about this movie.
Okay.
I think this movie, the 2003 Ang Lee Hulk movie, is part of the MCU.
Why?
Because if you...
How dare you?
No. If you remember in the Incredible Hulk, they give you that kind of glossed over backstory. It starts off in the rainforest.
Yeah, it is quasi... Dude, it is quasi tied in. You're right.
A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah. Now, there is numerous Hulk stories where he does end up in South Africa or South America.
But they directly, why would you do that?
I know. Yeah.
And if you're starting over, why not just start somewhere else?
Yeah.
So, a lot of people forget that Ang Lee's Hulk is still kind of tied to the MCU.
Yeah.
It's kind of canon.
I'm going to edit this out of the show. I am a Marvel shill, and we can't have this kind of thing. I'll be back next week with co-host Dave.
That's my replacement.
Yeah.
I thought you'd get Jordan at least.
Well, Dave's part of government, so yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah,
that makes
he's
sense.
taking me out.
All right, here this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's LXG. It is Sean Connery's last film
to date. Yeah.
No, he retired after that.
He could come back in some fashion.
Nah, he's not coming back now. If he wouldn't come back to be a villain in or that dude in Skyfall, like that groundskeeper in Skyfall, but they should make him a villain. I think we've talked about that before. Like, I think if you ask him to be the bad guy, he might come back. But the movie he decided to retire on was The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
And let's talk about what he gave up to do this movie.
Wasn't it Lord of the Rings?
It was Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, he didn't like the dialogue.
Yes.
In Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
so.
And he also passed on Matrix. He was supposed to be Morpheus.
Yes, but
didn't understand the script.
But that's good because
that was perfect. He's just dumb on his part.
Yeah, because we wouldn't have got Keanu. It was supposed to be him, and then Will Smith was going to be
That's right.
Neo.
Yeah. So different movie completely.
Yeah, completely.
Also passed on the John Hammond part in Jurassic Park.
Wow, I don't get it, but hey, man, the guy's good, right? The guy's good.
I like Sean.
This is adapted from the Alan Moore storyline, which we've talked about it at lengths in other episodes. But I really enjoyed the movie. It's not shot the best, but I think for the most part, the acting is really solid. Nemo.
We'll get to that part.
The story is really good.
It's
I think the
an
story
awesome
is really
premise.
good. I think the premise is excellent. I think the story is actually really good. Just that guy who played Tom Sawyer was garbage.
Yeah.
But
for those who don't know about this movie, it is based on the Alan Moore graphic novel where he plucks literary heroes and villains out of other stories.
Like pits them against each other.
Yeah, so Tom Sawyer, Alan Quartermain, Dorian Gray,
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde,
the Invisible Man.
Yeah.
Who's the
pirate?
The villain. Nemo.
Oh, Nemo. Yeah. 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Yeah.
The villain in this movie ends up being spoilers.
Well, they call him M.
Yeah, they call him M.
And I knew what it was going into it.
I didn't. Because I took M as like MI6 people. I took it as that, like it was an Ian Fleming. Which it actually may be an Ian Fleming, like that may be the red herring.
Sure.
But then it ends up that he's
Moriarty.
Yeah, Moriarty. So yeah, it was a really cool idea, and I had not read the comic up until that point. Yeah. So I watched that. I was like, oh, this is super fun. I went back. I read the comic. I was like, oh. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think the comic is better, but it was definitely darker.
Oh, big time.
Definitely darker.
Oh, yeah.
And it was interesting. It was more violent. It was definitely more grown up. This was like for the teenager.
Oh, yeah. They need to get that PG-13 rating.
Yeah, this was for the teenager version of it.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed it. I'm gonna say it. I really enjoyed it.
Have you? You still like it?
Oh yeah, I still like it. Yeah, it's a good popcorn movie. That's it. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, that and Van Helsing with
Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman. Yep. They still evoke the same. They elicit the same reaction I got the first time. It's fun. It's fun.
Okay. Anyway, right. So wrapping up the movie, my two favorite lines in the movie are kind of deal with Nemo.
Okay.
It's when they're coming. The first one is when they're coming out of the Moriarty's building or whatever. And Nemo meets with Quartermain, and he's like, how are we going to get there? And he's like, oh, we're going to take this. And he goes, what is it? He's like, I call it an automobile.
Yeah, they like give Nemo like all this credit, like he invented all this stuff.
He's like the Steve Jobs of back then.
Oh my god, yes. Yes, he's like
make this for me.
Yeah, he's like like Indian too.
Yeah, which we got it right.
Is that right?
Because in all the other movies they portray him as white.
Yeah,
and in the book he was like of olive skin color.
Sweet,
so
interesting.
at least they got that right.
Yeah.
But I just thought the way it's like, come on, dude.
Yeah, automobile.
This is a horseless carriage.
Yes.
And then of course. The best part in the movie,
there's this great
which you pointed out to me.
Dude, I love this part. Dr. Jekyll or Mr. Hyde is like fighting like a more amped, like a hulked up version of himself.
Yeah.
Yeah. and he just keeps like screaming for Captain Nemo.
Yeah, Nemo.
He's like Nemo, and like Nemo's like fighting his way to him. He shouts out Nemo's name at least 3 times
easily,
and then and it's not easy for Nemo to get to him.
Yeah, he has to hack some people apart.
Yeah, so he gets there. He gets to hide, and he's like, Nemo, run! He like called him all the way back to like tell him to get away, and it was like the most ridiculous scene. And it just
I didn't notice it until we watched it on Blu-ray or whatever DVD together. Yeah. And you're like, dude, you ever notice that? I'm like, notice what? He's like, he made him come all the way back there just to tell him to run. I'm like, rewound it. I'm like, oh god!
Yeah, it was so funny. And then the guy who plays Moriarty, I can't remember his name, but he was also in Van Helsing.
Mm-hmm.
He played Dracula. He was in Moulin Rouge as the Count.
Bad guy.
Yep. But all 3 of those guys sound very different.
Yeah, very true.
He is the poor man's Gary Oldman.
Yeah.
And I'd like to see him in more stuff. I'd like to see him.
Oh my god, he is. Yeah.
He's great, man. He was like literally those 3 roles I've seen him in. He's awesome, and I'm remembering from something of a sharpshooter in something, but I can't even remember the guy's name. So, but yeah, he was great. He's great.
Yeah, I mean, would you want a sequel to this or a reboot?
Oh yeah. I'd like to see more of this.
I think this could be a show.
I think it would be perfect as a show, and then we can bring in other people. We can bring in Sherlock Holmes, or even bring in Watson like after the fact, like after Sherlock Holmes is dead.
Then
and we have Watson having to use. I love that, and it's echoed in the series, in the novels, in the films, where it's like, Watson, you know my methods.
Right.
Like, I may not be here, especially, I love RDJ's second one, Game of Shadows, and he's like Game of Shadows the first one? I can't remember, whatever the second one is, and Moriarty and Sherlock are talking about their pawns, and, just like, Watson knows his methods. Like, even though I'm not there, like, somebody is there who kind of knows what I'm doing.
For sure.
And it's so well portrayed, and God, I hope they make that third one.
It's funny, a lot of people forget that Watson's a doctor.
Yeah, he's also...
he's not stupid.
No, not just a doctor, an army medic.
Like, he can handle himself,
Yeah, I love how... Yeah, because I feel like when we were kids, like, Watson was very portrayed as like the bumbling
like
sidekick.
He's fat.
Yeah. But he's like... Yeah, he was like in the Afghan wars, in that time.
Yeah.
Which I loved when they updated it for the Sherlock TV show on BBC, where he was like in Afghanistan now.
Yeah.
But yeah, LXG, I think it's a good summer flick. And I'll watch that in Daredevil back to back. Right?
Seems like you got your night set.
Oh man, yeah. Let's get the popcorn going. Now there was a little movie that came out that was probably not as well known. Something called X2.
Yeah, what was that, man?
It's a
sequel.
I missed it. Yeah, it was a sequel to this Mutants, I think.
Mm-hmm. Doom Patrol?
Yeah, Doom Patrol. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
No, X2, arguably still, you could still argue that this is the greatest X-Men movie made.
Yep. Next to Logan.
Logan.
Well, I don't even can't count.
Let's talk about it. It's in that conversation of Logan, First Class. I really like Days of Future Past. Days of Future Past might be my favorite, but X2 is my favorite comic book movie, like, even into the MCU.
For sure.
It was, like, my favorite comic book movie for a long, long time. This one and Spider-Man 2 were just, like, two of the best, probably the 2 best of the pre-MCU.
Absolutely.
This is arguably one of those.
And it still holds up.
It's still really good.
It's still great. You talk about opening a movie. This X2 is how you open a movie. Mm-hmm. Nightcrawler. Getting into the White House.
Yes.
I mean,
it's bananas.
I'm like remembering when I saw it in the theater when it came out, and I just
Wolverine
raging the first time, berserking.
In the mansion against all the guards and everything, when he's just like killing dudes.
Yep.
You're just like, I remember when I previewed it, and then I brought you to watch the movie. I wasn't even watching when that scene was starting. When he hears the soldiers in there, and he like goes around, and then when he like slams his claws into that dude's chest into the fridge.
Yeah.
I was watching your face.
Yeah, and I'm just like,
yeah, I was like, that was like the hands down the most hardcore death we had seen
up to that point. For sure.
And yeah, it was so good.
It was such a big deal.
And you know what we never talk about and is equally as good as those two scenes? Magneto's prison escape.
Oh yeah. I was going to bring it up.
But we've talked about
it gets glossed over,
show,
and it gets glossed over.
We never talk about it.
You're right.
We
it gets glossed
never
over.
talk about it.
I mean, is it silly? Yes, because basically Mystique, if you haven't seen it, people, and spoilers, gives this guard a shot of iron.
Yeah, I guess.
In his butt.
Too much iron in your blood.
Yeah, and he pulls it out of his pores.
Yeah,
which looked
amazing.
I mean, come on, man.
It's the closest, and I don't know if we're ever going to get Wolverine's metal being taken out. But that's the closest. We'll get to it.
Yeah,
right now.
And
I think Feige will do it. I think Feige will give us.
Oh yeah,
give it to us.
Give it. Yeah,
15 years.
Man. Well, yeah. It'll be worth the wait.
Yeah, totally.
But Wolverine again, another Wolverine heavy movie that was kind of not about Wolverine.
Yeah, Wolverine and the X-Men, kind of.
Yeah, but even Magneto says in this one, he's like, "You still think this is about you?"
Yeah. I think Magneto's talking to us.
Yeah, for sure. But I like the scene when they're at Bobby Drake's house, his parents' house.
Yeah,
and he gets shot in the head by the police officer.
We got to see more mutants cut loose.
Yeah, totally.
Where we were kind of lacking some powers in the first movie.
Budgetary.
Budgetary. But when they were like, "Oh, this is going to be huge."
Yeah.
And it was. I mean, it did really well. I think it made like 500 million, 400, 500 million.
It did good.
In that range.
It did better than they thought it was going to do.
And yeah, I just thought that I was like, oh, X-Men 1 was good. Yeah. X2 is better. God, X3 is going to
blow it out of the park.
Amazing. But we'll get to that later.
Real quick, how you, being you, what did you think when you got to the end and you saw the Phoenix in the water?
I was like, oh my God, I cannot wait. They're going to do it. They were giving us the illusions early in the thing. And I just don't know why they feel like they have to get there so quick with the Phoenix stuff. Because, it doesn't even... Okay.
For this, I understand. For the Singer trilogy,
yes.
I get
for
it.
Sure.
I get it. They have to. Just because it's, we have to... It's consumable. It's digestible.
It's arguably the greatest, if not... one of the greatest, if not the greatest X story. X theme. X whatever.
Yeah.
It's been beaten to death. But more times than not, it's really good to read about whenever they do something with the Phoenix. But we have two just like terrible, terrible Phoenix movies. And I've talked about it before, but I don't know that we get another shot at it. But I hope Kevin Feige does, and I think that
I think he knows how bad we want it.
We want it so bad.
Because, which one's worse? The one that came out last year, or the Ratner, or the whoever directed this other one?
I'm going to say the Ratner one is.
Yeah.
Because...
You're coming off of a good build-up.
Yes.
You had a good lead-in, bro.
Yes.
And
whereas Apocalypse wasn't that good.
Apocalypse or Dark Phoenix?
So the lead-in to Dark Phoenix.
I see what you... Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
I was following you.
Gotcha. So, yeah, Apocalypse was terrible. I forgot that existed.
Yeah, I forgot there were 4 movies in the First Class franchise.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you forget that Jennifer Lawrence is in 4 X-Men movies.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, she wasn't that big in First Class at that point. Her star was kind of on the uptick.
Because I think that year, First Class and the first of that Hunger Games came out the same year.
Yep, sure did.
And I mean, she was the hottest actress in the world for years.
Sure.
She's taking it down now. She got married.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's chilling. Chilling.
Good for her.
But X2.
Yes, it
changed my
revolution.
Life.
It was a revolution.
I did not watch it 12 times, though. I can tell you that. I did not watch it 12 times in the theater.
I can say I watched it closer to that because I was working at the movie theater, and I would get paid to watch it.
Oh, you son of a!
But it was a big deal because this sets the precedent again.
Yeah, this moved the stick again, moved the bar up, and that's what they were trying to do. It's funny, they were really shooting low.
Yes.
And they're like, hey, we're just going to move the bar a few inches.
Right.
And then Feige and his team came in and they're like, hey, we're going to change the game.
Then they deadlifted it.
Yeah, they were like, hey, you guys are moving it a few inches. You can't even lift our bar.
No.
I'm swinging my bar around. You can't even lift it.
And again, going from what we had here, just even the Marvel properties, to what we have now.
Yeah.
We arguably got one of the best serialized dramas in Daredevil. Mm-hmm. Through Marvel Studios on Netflix. We've got an amazing Hulk, one of the best Hulk stories told in a Thor movie. Mm-hmm. And then, X-Men had a good run, but now we look to the future.
Yeah.
You know,
X-Men's run in film is just like X-Men's run in comics. It's exactly how it is. It's like you have that really good stretch, and they're like, "Hey, we're the big boy in the yard." Okay, and then there's just like these substitute teachers come up, and they just push it along. It just limps along, and that's exactly how the comics are. Like it may be the most comic book franchise of any of them.
Oh my god!
Is X2 better than any DC movie from the Snyder realm?
It's better than all of them.
I agree. I was just curious.
Yeah, it's better.
If there was anything that would
This had the allegory to being different. We don't even have to necessarily say homosexuality.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, I mean, yeah, back then that's what it was, but now you could apply it to anything.
Homosexuality and just being black.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, just different.
So,
just being different and being, persecuted for it, you know. Also, it had the best cast, one of the best casting choices in the world, a few times over.
Yeah.
You know, even Ian McKellen kills it. We always kind of gloss over him. Gloss over his singing, gloss over his acting. Because, he's standing next to Hugh Jackman and Patrick Stewart.
And I think it's because he's so good as Gandalf.
Good. Yeah.
As Gandalf that, like, if he had never been Gandalf, this might be his biggest role.
I agree.
In terms of, like, pop culture.
Yeah.
But he's so good as Gandalf. And because he's so good there, a little bit of that transfers over, so you kind of still see Gandalf.
Yeah, he's a little bit of Gandalf-y.
Yeah, he's more Gandalf-y than he is Eric Lenscher.
Totally.
Whereas I think that, I kind of think Fassbender kind of owned it.
He is Eric Lenscher.
I think he kind of owned it. I think he kind of owned it. And I don't know that we appreciate it yet.
No, because in First Class, oh my God.
So good.
Apparently that was a piece of a script they were going to do.
X-Men Origins Magneto.
Where he's just a Nazi hunter.
Yep.
Which... Come on.
Yeah, give me that. Give me that. Give me Dr. Nemesis. Give me Kitty Pryde. Give me Ben Grimm. And let's do this weird crossover where we have Nazi hunters.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
And
Ben Grimm's Jewish. I forgot about that.
Right.
Yeah, Ben Grimm's Jewish. Yeah.
Yeah, and his Aunt Petunia didn't raise no fool.
Yeah!
Kids, that's our show for today. If you like what we're doing, please hit that subscribe button. Tell your friends. Guys, this is episode 150. We made you wait until the very end.
That's what we do.
So silly. Now, hopefully, we didn't make them wait too long because, they're gonna just fast forward to the end. You know, but if you don't know what we're talking about, I'm sorry. We are giving away the Superman Batman run with a vengeance. The idea is you hear the code word here, and you're gonna go to our Instagram at RAC Podcast. July 25th, we did a post about the 150th episode. The first person to write Aunt Petunia, that is the code word, however you want to spell it. All right, in the comments, will win the Superman Batman run with a vengeance. I'll reach out to you on Instagram, so check us out over there. Please subscribe. Please tell your friends. Eric, do you have any final thoughts for us?
Aunt Petunia.
Aunt Petunia. Yep, because she didn't raise no fool.
She didn't. Yeah. No, she didn't.
I have been your host, Roman Chavez.
I'm still Erik Icarus.
And we will catch you on the next podcast.